Hey guys, it's Patrick here. Welcome to the 2023 Niagara Spring Real Estate Market Update. Is the market hot? Is it cold? Is it flat? Is it in the tank? Is it growing? Is it back to normal? What is it? And really the answer is complicated. It depends what you're looking at, where you're looking at, and when you're looking at. Because we've seen so far here in April, so far in 2023, we've seen all kinds of different versions of a market. So we're going to talk about that today. First, I do like a good caveat, a good asterisk. When you're looking at market data, month-to-month reports, looking at this month compared to the same month last year, in 2023 is super dangerous. Look no further than February 2022 versus February 2023. February 2022 was an absolute mind-boggling month. February 2023 was still better than the month before it, but compared to last year was terrible, right? Or look at April 2021, a really strong market against April 2020 during COVID, right? So we're going to look at trends. They sort of take out those peak and valley markets. We look at the 10-year trend for a lot of the numbers in this video, meaning looking at the last 10 Marches, the last 10 Aprils, and then averaging them out and seeing some kind of semblance of what is normal. How is 2023 in comparison to the 10-year averages? It really depends who you ask, where you're looking, and what kind of home you're looking at, right? So far this year, the market's pretty wonky. It's spotty. It's inconsistent. So it requires a little bit of a deeper dive, a bit more insight to figure out exactly what's shaking, which is a total difference, total black and white than what we had in early 2022 when the entire market behaved exactly the same, right? We had 117% of asking price. We had 19 offers. Everything didn't matter what the property was or where it was getting the same treatment, which is the opposite of what we have now. So yes, we have a really strong market in some areas of the city. Others are struggling. This city in Niagara is behaving like this, while this one is a little quieter. So it's not one size fits all. I know you guys were waiting for it. It's finally here. It is graph time. So graphs, I think visually, at least that's the goal, will show you in a quick glance better representation of what I'm saying with all these words. So there's two things to know with these graphs. One, the green line represents the 10-year average. So if you have something that's 10% above the green line, that means it's 10% above the average. If there's something that's 25% below the green line, then you have something that's 25% below the average. That's one. Two, all the stuff in here for April is as of today, which is the third week of April. So there's still, there's still time on the clock, but it's on pace for. Okay, so those two things are important to know. For the sake of getting a better understanding of what I'm talking about, let's look at a bakery. Imagine a bakery that makes 50 loaves of bread a day, and on a given day, they typically have about 45 to 50 people come through to buy it. You have some equilibrium there, right? I supply this, people buy it, we're good, prices are good, everything else. Now imagine that same bakery where all of a sudden they're making 100 loaves a day and 50 people come to buy it. Well, now they have 50 left over. And then the next day only 40, the next day 38. So every day they have this compounding factor where there's more and more bread that isn't getting purchased. What do? They either heavily discount that bread to get it sold, in which case then the buyers will say, you know what, I'll take two loaves. Or yeah, I'll take that one. I didn't really want it, but sure, the price is so good, how can I say no? Or they don't sell it at all and it goes in the dumpster. So when you look at early 2022, we had a market where at the beginning of the year, for every loaf of bread, there was 2 people that wanted to buy it, or 7. And so as a result, the days in the market was 6, 7, 8 days. Prices were escalating. They jumped up huge. And it was just a frenetic, crazy market. It was like 5 minutes before closing time, and it was Easter, and everybody needed a pie, and they were lined up at the door, right? Then all of a sudden in May, when the market changed, all of a sudden they kept making more and more bread, pretending that it was still Easter, it was still that busy weekend, and less people wanted to buy it. Now all of a sudden we're making 150 loaves a day and only 20 people come to the door, and now we have all this surplus, right? And that's what happened in the summer of 2022. We saw prices pull way back and we saw prices drop, and everybody sort of went, whoa, what's going on with all this bread? So here so far this year, yes, new listing inventory from a month to a month basis might have crept up a little bit, but on a monthly basis, compared to what's normal for each respective months, it's actually declined more and more. So, when you look at January, it's supposed to be here. It was, this far below. February is this far below. March is this far. So yes, from a month to a month, it might have gone up a touch, but compared to what's normal on a trend line, it's actually been decreasing. Now with sales, the reason we've seen sale prices stabilize or increase so far in 2023 is even though we've seen sales running below the norm, 10, 15, 20, 25%, depending where you look on a monthly basis below the 10-year average, because that inventory has done the same thing, because they've behaved the same way. So think of the bakery. Now they're making 30 loaves of bread a day, and there's 25 people that want to buy it, as opposed to 50 loaves a day and 45 people that want to buy it. So as a result, we've seen prices actually escalate here in 2023 because the supply piece and the demand piece have both behaved in a similar fashion. All right, graph time. So here's the Niagara region. The gray line is the number of new listings, the pink line is the number of sales, and the green line is the 10-year average. So if you have something that's 10% above the green line, that means it was 10% above normal. If you have something that was 20% below the green line, it means it was 20% below normal, right? So look at the gray line. While the number of new listings have improved from a month-to-month basis, the actual number, when you look at the 10-year average, the trend, it's actually been declining on a monthly basis. We went from 15% above normal in January to now April is sitting around 9% below normal. So you see that same trend happening. Meanwhile, number of sales, while we have improved from what was a dismal January, which was 23% below normal, into February, March, it improved. April right now has taken a step back. Right now, it's sitting on a trend of 25 to 30% below normal for the month of April when compared to the 10-year norm. St. Catharines. St. Catharines has the dubious distinction of being in negative territory for both the supply of new listings and the number of sales for every month so far in 2023. In fact, for the most part, in double-digit percentages, negative when compared to the 10-year average. But here's the important thing. Because both the supply of new listings and the number of homes sold have been not equal, but similar in negative territory, we've actually seen price appreciation on a monthly basis from January through here until almost third week of April. Because going back to the bakery thing, imagine the baker is now adjusted and he's only making 28 loaves a day and there's 26 people that want to buy it. Well, then the prices are going to be okay because they're not throwing bread away at the end of the day because they're making what the market wants. So had the baker been oblivious to things and said, I'm going to still make 100 loaves, people will buy it, they love my bread, right? And only 26 people show up, well, then you've got a huge problem. But because we've seen that sort of symmetry, how symmetrical, you ask? Well, here in April right now, the supply of new listings and the number of homes sold are both tracking between 22 and 25% below normal. So yes, even though it's deflated, they're equally deflated. So as a result, prices are okay because we don't have this overabundance of inventory. Niagara Falls, a bit of a unique bird. With so much of the overall volume being investor driven, it's more exposed to external factors than perhaps other areas of Niagara. It is the number 2 market in Niagara. So St. Catharines, the number 1 as far as the number of homes sold in a given year. Niagara Falls, number 2, Welland, number 3. But it has had a strange 2023 so far. The second lowest Q1 number of sales that I could find in modern times anyway. Actually, you know what? How about I show you the graph? Boom, right there. You can see new listing inventory went from 10% above down to 10 to 20 below. Meanwhile, sales 30%, 16, 31%, and then so far here in April, tracking to be 40 to 50% off of the 10-year norm for the number of sales. So even though the number of new listings are 10 to 20% below, if sales are 50, 40% below normal, that's not going to help pricing. So April, May, June in Niagara Falls will be really interesting to see. The piece of data that everybody really wants to know is sale prices. What's my home worth? What's that house selling for? That sort of thing, right? So far this year, 2023, the trends are somewhat similar. It appears that the low was December or January of last year, and we're seeing an uptick in price appreciation so far this year. Now, it's really tricky to look at Font Hill or Lincoln or Niagara Lake when there's only 10, 15, 20, 25, maybe 30 sales in a month. You can have 4 sales that completely pull the numbers in this direction or that. So really just looking at the bigger markets, Niagara Region, St. Catharines, Niagara Falls, Welland, right? The Niagara Region as a whole, from January to here in the third week of April, is up 12%. St. Catharines, January to April, is up 12%. Niagara Falls, up 12%. And then Welland, a little bit of a different market, having a different experience right now. However, still up 15 to 16, 17% so far from January to April of this year. There's the graph to show you. I should have put up that earlier. But you can see very clearly that there's a trend happening. And again, that is tied because even though there's not a ton of people that want to buy stuff, the number of homes that they have to choose from is also not plentiful. So as a result, it's still a little bit of a, not heated, but it's warm out there as far as the conditions go. The other question people always have is what's going to happen next? And this is where I get out the B-Team crystal ball and make guesses. So the biggest piece to this is how supply and demand interact. It's not rocket science, right? We've seen any number of variations of that interaction in the last year or two, and then the impact that's had on prices. So right now, I guess one question is, yes, sales are down 20-25% below. Is that because there's less people putting up their house for sale? And then now that we're getting the spring market, the tulips are out, the pools are open, now we're going to see an increase in inventory, and those sellers also become buyers. And there's a bit of a ladder thing that happens as the market starts to ramp up. We will see, but that interplay between how many people want to buy something and how many people are putting something up for sale, that interplay is the market, right? So over the next 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, that's going to be key to track those numbers. And yes, for the whole market, sure, do that. But for your particular neighborhood, if you're looking at your particular home and where it fits into the market, you really have to get a bit more micro to get a handle on things, because not all areas, not all cities are behaving the same. So yes, watch this video by all means, read the paper, watch the CBC. But when it comes time to nail things down, you're going to want to reach out to your realtor, and then also get a more narrowed down, specific, accurate piece of insight to establish value. All right, guys, that's a wrap. Thank you for joining me. Thank you to Naomi Knight for contributing that plant to our overall set design. I think we absolutely knocked it out of the park. If you want to stay in the loop on the Niagara real estate market, down in the description of this video, you're going to see all kinds of links, podcasts and Instagrams and Facebooks and blogs and market trackers and all kinds of good fun. So yeah, there's all kinds of links for that down below. Subscribe to this channel. When a new video comes out, bam, you get a notification. You can check it out as well. If you ever have questions on your home, your neighborhood, you want to report on your home, whatever, by all means, feel free to reach out anytime. Always happy to chat. We are here anytime to discuss Niagara real estate. Okay, thanks so much. Take care. Enjoy the spring. Bye.